Hi everybody, Dan Illman here taking a look at race number 9 at Belmont Park on a 4th of July Sunday card. It's a nice stakes race. We'll put up the field for the Manila. $100,000 is the purse. 3-year-olds going 1 mile on the Widener turf, and there are some very promising up-and-coming horses in this race. Most notably, perhaps, the number 2 Public Sector coming off of a victory for Chad Brown. The number 1 Straw Into Gold, never added the exacta from 3 lifetime starts for trainer Christophe Clement, but they are far from the only contenders in this race. Let's put up the Timeform US Pace Projector and see how this race might set up from a race shape standpoint. A horse that's been racing on the dirt recently, the number 7, Ridin' with Biden, has a good amount of early speed. The question is whether Ridin' with Biden can transfer that dirt form onto turf. He has a little bit of pedigree. The question is whether he'll be able to show the way. Personally, I think the number 5, Original, is going to be on the lead in this race, as he's been in his last 3 starts. I think that's his best way to go, and you can argue that his most recent start over Yielding Going, he ran fine, but he might not have cared for the testing ground. So I think Original's going to make the lead. Straw Into Gold, the number 1, made the lead in his most recent start, a race we're going to take a look at right now. This race was for New York breds, and Straw Into Gold received a beautiful ride from Joel Rosario, who made the lead with this horse and then just dropped the anchor on the field. Backed down the fractions, gave Straw Into Gold a big breather, and you see Straw Into Gold sprint on home. He wins gamely by a neck. The runner-up from this race came back to win his next start, and this is a horse that is versatile. He won that last race in gate-to-wire fashion, but in his win in his career debut, he came from 6 lengths off the lead. So it's nice to have that versatility, and Straw Into Gold probably is going to work out a really nice pace-tracking, ground-saving trip, this time with Arad Ortiz Jr. in the irons. The number 2 is Public Sector, and we're going to watch Public Sector's most recent win over Yielding Going at Belmont last month. This horse just seems like he's rounding into form. He always showed potential as a 2-year-old for Chad. He was second in the Grade 2 Pilgrim Stakes before an ill-fated jaunt in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. He's run twice now this year. He has improved from each start, and is another horse that's rather tactical. You saw him up close to the pace in that last race before bursting through in between horses. He's also come from out of it. Public Sector in many ways is the horse to beat. The number 3 is Like the King. He is a graded stakes winner on the Polytrack surface at Turfway Park. He won the Jeff Ruby Stakes 3 starts back, going 1 mile and 1/8. Wesley Ward ran him in the Kentucky Derby. He had points. He tried him on the dirt. It didn't work out, and he returned the horse to the turf last time out. And I talked to Wesley earlier this week, and he said that Like the King didn't seem to care for the wet turf at Churchill Downs, as well as the slow pace that he was faced with in that spot. Like the King might get perhaps a fairer pace scenario this time around. The question is, does he want a little bit more distance? This race is at 1 mile. He might be at his best going a little bit longer. The 4 is Annex, going out for the Great Bill Mott. This horse is a multiple stakes winner who ran in an off-the-turf race last time out, and he did not like that wet track at Penn National at all. 2 starts back at Churchill Downs. He got a pretty nice setup as the favorite in the American turf, and he just didn't fire that day. A little bit green with his lead changes in the stretch. This is a horse that has some upside potential. He's won 3 of 5, but is another one that I think needs a lot of pace up front. The pace may need to be very fast for a horse like Annex, for a horse like the King, to make up the tactical disadvantage. Original, the number 5, I think is going to make the lead. This horse has looked very good on turf. They've run him on dirt in a couple of situations. It didn't work out. 3rd start of the form cycle could be a potent angle for Original, who might be able to try to shake loose, but we saw last time Public Sector took his measure in the stretch. Hot Blooded is the number 6. Hot Blooded's done some good work, although he probably is going to have to improve if he's going to take down this field. His last race, I won't hold that against him. It was an off-the-turf race, and he just seems like a better horse on the grass. But 2 starts back in the English Channel at Gulfstream, he didn't fire his best shot. I need to see him do it against this kind of competition before I back him. Ridin' with Biden should be close to the pace as he makes his turf debut. He's by constitution a super young stallion that really could handle, his progeny can handle any kind of surface, and there's turf on the bottom of this pedigree. Not only is Ridin' with Biden a half-to-1 turf winner, but the second dam was a Grade 2 stakes winner on the turf from the family of Man from Wicklow, who was a Grade 1 stakes winner on the turf. Ridin' with Biden should handle the surface, The question is, can he handle the hike in class? It's a Gamble is the number 8. We're going to watch It's a Gamble's most recent start, 2-back on turf in the Woodhaven. Good race for It's a Gamble, who set a good trip, saving ground in behind the lead, eased to the outside, and he just couldn't get to a nice horse. The winner of that race was Odds On, came back to win his next start. It's a Gamble came back to win his next start as well, albeit in a dirt race, the Jersey Derby. I think that It's a Gamble fits very well at this mile distance, and he's another horse with the tactical speed where he can sit in the second flight. He may lack the upside of some of the more lightly raced horses in this field, but he does have some ability and should be kicking on in the stretch. We take a look at my top picks for the Manila. Straw into Gold's very interesting. A New York bred, really a name only, has a very strong pedigree for Clement. I love the versatility he's shown, and I think there's a good amount of upside. Around 4-1 seems like a fair price for Straw into Gold. I'm going 1-2-8-4 on the $100,000 Manila at Belmont Park on Sunday. Good luck.